Good evening everyone and welcome to round 11 of the Track Stars TS2 Touring Car Series, where we are bringing you all the action tonight live from Catalonia, the Grand Prix circuit, most commonly known for hosting the Spanish Grand Prix, and we're just getting underway with qualifying. I'm your host for tonight, Jarman Dalitz, and unfortunately my usual co-commentator in Spud P666 is stuck in Melbourne at the moment, so unfortunately he can't join us, but I'll be here to bring you all the action as we're underway with qualifying now, as we follow along with Duram50, who's leading the field away, and he'll be the first driver to complete his time lap as he comes through turns 7 and 8 up to the fast right-hander turn 9 and onto this second longest straight, the back straight before turn 10, and then deep under the brakes for turn 10 here, tight hairpin. Of course that's being altered for the most recent Spanish Grand Prix, so it's a little different in real life now to what it is on GT Sport, but of course it certainly provides a challenge for all the drivers on here. So Duram50 is going to come around and complete his first flying lap in this qualifying session. 8 minutes long, and he sets a 1:31.4, so very fast time there. Meanwhile, Matt puts himself in third, and Jono Stan jumps in the second as well. Of course, the usual suspects of Duram, Jono Stan, Matt, Viper said, who this week didn't have to go through pre-qualifying, courtesy of winning last round at Interlagos, and Lily also earned a free pass into the race tonight, courtesy of winning Split 2 last week. So those two parked themselves inside the top 5. Of course we've got Magical Wax, who came through pre-qualifying, as well as Duram50, Jono Stan, Matt and Sir Slayer, who's down in 9th at the moment. So probably the first of our series regulars so far is JMX, who's sitting in 6th place, with Rugworth sitting in 8th as well. He's sitting 4th in the series championship, just about 44 points behind JMX, as we just see Xylon puts himself up in 6th place, so good run there, and he's sitting 2nd in the championship so far. So he's got a bit of a gap on Little Blacko, who's down in 10th at the moment, so that'll be very crucial for his championship hopes. As Matt just crossed the line, set a new personal best time, which puts him up in the P2. Still just a bit over 2/10 off of Duram50's time, so we still need to find a few more tenths to jump into pole position here. Let's have a look and see who's coming up. It's like Lily's on a lap here, but on an out lap actually, so apologies for that. We'll be looking to clear Benjo reasonably quickly, try and make sure he remains in clean air for this lap. I am looking at the fuel meter. I'm assuming with the 131s that they're putting out at the moment that there's actually no fuel burn on at the moment. Would have to be the only reasonable explanation for that at the moment. Like Sir Slayer set another fast lap time as well, jumped himself up into 7th place. Let's jump with Duran, who's starting his flying lap. Mint Matt didn't manage to improve that time around. Let's follow along with Jono Stan quickly as he takes the 3rd corner of this lap, heading down towards the end of the 1st sector. Let's see what kind of time he puts in. Looks like this will be his final lap. He's 10th down, so going to need a bit of an improvement here on the next couple of sectors as Little Blacko jumps into 8th spot as well, so that'll close the gap to his championship rival Xylon 96 in the grid order. Coming around the final corner, coming to complete a lap. He goes a 10th quicker, so not quite enough to jump Duran, but I think he's still got one fast lap left to go here, so he just made it across the line in time. Viper Z improved, but could only manage 4th. Where's Duran? Duran's off the track there. Here comes Jono to complete his final lap. Let's see what he can produce. Goes a 10th quicker, but still only 3rd place there, so looks like the only one on the flying lap at the moment. Well, the last one to complete a flying lap will be Mint Matt, so let's see what he can produce through here. So unfortunately I was quickly playing with settings, so I think I missed that last sector time for Mint Matt, so definitely have to see what he produces here, but he'll be the last one to come across the finishing line here. Let's see what time he puts in. I don't think it's not going to be enough, so Duran 50 will take pole for qualifying here for the round 11 of the Trackstars TS2 Touring Car Series at Catalonia. Mint Matt will join him on the 1st row, and of course Jono Stan and Viper Z will be joining them on row 2 of the grid. And then it's Brocco Lily and Xylon 96, who's the first of our series regulars to be, well, first of the series regulars in qualifying.
There's a couple of quick races in this one, I'll tell you that much.
Yeah, there's a lot of fast ones, and of course welcome to our co-commentator for tonight, Disappointed, who's joining me here as we're underway for race 1 of the Trackstars TS2 round 11, and it looks like Duran had a bit of a slow start there, but Mint Matt probably had a bit of a worse one as well, as Jono Stan moves alongside Duran here through turn 3, so good start from him, got himself in the contention for the lead, but looking a bit further back, Xylon's had a brilliant start and up into 4th place.
Yeah, that's a very exceptional spot for him to be, especially when he's trying to defend his championship. But obviously the next person defending the championship is, I think it's JMX down there in 6th, isn't it? Or Blacko in 8th?
Yes, so JMX is just behind Xylon in 3rd place at the moment, and then of course Little Blacko's our runaway series leader for now, and he's just a little bit behind, so this is a crucial race for both JMX and Xylon, as they really need to start gaining points here. As we look at Jerome, who's leading the field through the first part of this lap, building a solid little margin there to Mint Matt, and of course he's got the likes of Mint Matt, Jono Stan and Viper Z all chasing on his tail, as Jono Stan goes a little bit wide there coming through turn 13 and 14. And then Mint Matt there coming out of 15 just gets a little bit squirrely there. And it looks like Jono's going to have to pull aside to make sure he burns that penalty. I don't think he braked properly, so that might come under the wrath of the stewards a bit later on.
Yeah, we all know how lethal those stewards are.
Yeah, they certainly take the penalty burns very seriously.
Yeah, but it looks like these front pack are starting to little gap each other out now. Jerem's still holding a 1.1 second gap over Mint Matt, back to Viper as well.
Yeah, so the first four certainly starting to spread out a bit. And got Xylon running in 5th. JMX sort of a little bit closer behind, but yeah, it certainly looks like the field's spreading out. I guess it's a product of racing at this track, by the looks of things, because we had this situation in Formula 2 last week as well, and probably a bit in the Formula Track Stars race itself.
Yeah, well, obviously within the first 8 laps or so, we all kind of really spread out, and there's a bit of a gap between first and second in Kunz and Spud, and then myself in third, and then you didn't get the best of starts, but yeah, we all seemed to kind of, everyone just gapped each other on the first, say, 10 laps or so. It must be just a Catalonia track kind of thing.
Yeah, maybe a bit of an aero thing as well, so might be a little bit different if there was cars with less aero possibly, but for now we've got to race with what we've got, and at the moment it's Duram 50 who's out in front so far. And he's still extending that margin out to Mint Matt. Not by a lot, but it's still enough of a gap that I definitely wouldn't say that I'd be comfortable with Mint Matt. Probably only, less than 2 seconds behind, that's for sure.
I don't think I'd be comfortable with Mint Matt within 5 seconds behind me, to be honest.
Yeah, that's definitely fair. I think if Mint Matt was within 5 seconds of me, he would have overtaken me by the end of the lap.
Yeah, Mint Matt running a little bit wide there, giving that opportunity to Vipers there to catch back up, close it up a little bit.
Yeah, so the battle looks a bit closer between Matt and Vipers at this stage, but of course Duram seems to be doing all the right things and just slowly eking that gap out, but of course one little mistake can prove so costly, especially in such a short race, so we'll definitely be looking to keep it smooth for the rest of the race, as we are 3 laps into this one so far and just about to head on to lap 4 of 6, so these races are probably just going to go by quicker than we expect actually.
Yeah, well, so far GT's cooperating effectively with no dropouts or anything like that. Even my lobby as well, I haven't had any dropouts or anything like that. As we're going on we're halfway through lap 2. We got Highlander in first, Honourably Airbearing in second, Hamwallet in third, and Mad Malak in fourth.
Oh, it's good to see that the GT servers are playing the game so far, and fingers crossed it remains that way for the rest of the race.
Yeah, well, fingers crossed it remains that way for the rest of the night for us, but I suppose gtsport has its own opinion on that one.
Yeah, it's impossible to work out that one, and just when you think things are going well, yeah, the servers decide to throw a curveball at you and make life difficult. But just looking at the gap now, and it looks like Duram's about 2 seconds, so gap steadied up a bit, and maybe Duram's looking at probably just making sure that those laps are clean and tidy for the rest of the way, and maybe just consolidate what he's got there and know that he's got a little bit of a buffer. But Viper's Zed certainly not giving up on second place at this point.
Yeah, I just had Scarlet, Han and Cowboy I don't know if they dropped out or left or what happened. Might be a dropout there.
It's very much possible. If they all dropped out at once, you're probably looking at a mass disconnection there.
I think the room's dead.
Uh-oh.
Budsy and SS Boy just died again. They just gone as well.
Oh no. I think we've put the curse on with the...
Oh no! Oh, what have we done?
Now I feel bad about that one.
Yeah, I feel bad about that one.
Like
Only 3 laps in, so...
Looks like Viper Z is closing in on Jono's stand here, so... This could become a bit of a tasty little battle in the last couple of laps here as Viper Z gets all out of control. Well, all sideways coming out of the corner there as he's ferociously chasing down Mint Matt to take second place in this opening race.
Yeah,
that'll be interesting to see if... Yeah, and Matt's copped the penalty there.
Unlucky. Yeah, but I don't know about you, mate. But I wouldn't want Viper within 5 seconds of me either, to be honest. But they're all quick, and we've got to see if Matt dummy burns this on the front straight. And if he doesn't, then there might be one for the stewards to be having a look at as well.
Yeah, that's certainly right there. And it looks like he's... Almost looks as if he's doing the sneaky burn, although he's being caught on stream doing that. And on that, here he goes.
Uh-oh. Stewards, take that into your little notebook of down of racing, mate. Might be one to look at the end of this. Or as you see, Vipers there try and go the outside to do the crisscross on Mint Matt here. Still battling the crisscross. Can he get it done on the outside? No. Oh.
Looks like he's got a good run there through turns 1, 2 and 3. He's definitely got the inside. I don't think Matt's going to give up on this as well. He's going to hold around the outside here and gain the advantage for turn 5 here as well. So just holds off the charge from Viper's head, but I don't think this is over by any means. As Dram's now 4 seconds out in front, so that's probably courtesy of that penalty that Mint Matt got, so that's really extended the margin out.
Yeah, it has, as my Gran Turismo lobby just shut itself, so it looks like I may have to restart that race.
Oh no. Hopefully you got the qualifying results at least, so that you can get that restarted. As we jump back to the front, it's Duram 50 in the CP Motorsports Nissan, who's rounding the final corners now. And on top of his clean sweep at the Blue Moon Bay infield, he's going to cross the line and take race 1 of round 11 of the Trackstars TS2 Touring Car Series. Mint Matt crosses the line in second with Viper Z third. Jono's standing fourth. Xylon 96 crosses the line in fifth. JMX in 6th for Mash Spuds Racing. So there's 2 Mash Spuds drivers in 5th and 6th. Little Blacko in 7th in the Robo Sport Racing Nissan. And Magical Wax crossing the line in 8th. Broccolilly in 9th. And Robo Sport, the RSR team boss, crossing the line in 10th. So solid result there for him. And then we've got Ruckworth, Sir Slayer. Looks like he had a bit of an incident at some point. And then we've got Mickey's and Devon Calypso. And then I think it would have been Benjo rounding out the field in 15th.
Yeah, it was a good thing that I got a photo of the qualifying results, because I just had a little Tweety bird thinking to me like, oh, this is going to disconnect. But not too sure what that is, but I'll redo this, get all the split 2 boys and girls back in, and I feel like it's only fair to redo that race.
Yeah, it's probably the fairest approach is maybe just go with a complete restart of that one. A few guys might be appreciating the second chance. So just a quick look at the results here. Of course, Duram 50 ended up 4.2 seconds ahead of Mint Matt, courtesy of that track limits penalty late on in the race. And then Mint Matt just holding off Viper's head for second, and Viper of course crossing the line third. And then Jono Stan after that early battle with Duram in the opening few corners dropped down the 4th course courtesy of a penalty for himself as well. And then Xylon gaining a few points over Little Blacko, but definitely not enough to take a championship lead, but of course there's still a long way to go in this series, of course, so plenty of time, and little by little you might get there possibly.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. If you just kind of peck away at the points, you know, winning an extra 20 or 30 here and there, and then they're only getting, say, 5 or 10, it's might pay off in the end of things.
We'll just take a quick break here, and I'll try and get race 2 into shape, and hopefully come back soon, ready for race 2 of round 11 of the Trackstars TS2 Touring Car Series. back. We're just about to get race 2 underway here at Catalonia. Of course, round 11 of the Trackstars TS2 Touring Car Series, the Catalonia Sprint. So, courtesy of a pole position and a race win so far, Jerem 50 will be leading the field away for this one. Okay, I'm not sure what's happened there, but that's a weird one.
What on earth is going on there? Good old GT Sport playing some little buggies on you.
You're not wrong there, it looks like Xylan's taken pole here. So it looks like we might have a bit of issues there as we, I'm going to say we'll call a red flag on that one. And I think we've got 2 cars stuck on the grid here, so...
GT Sport playing little silly buggers again.
So JMX and Viper's Head, I think they're going to disconnect the room. And looks like Jono has as well.
Good old GT Sport, my friend.
Starting to think that maybe it's a Catalonia thing, considering the glitches we had with the tyres last week as well.
Mate, if it's a Catalonia thing and you want to postpone the track and move it to a different track and get rid of Catalonia, I am all for that.
I think we've got 2 yes votes then.
I think you'll find that most of the people that are racing will agree on that one.
Until I tell them we're going to Lago Maggiore.
Look, it's not one of my worst tracks. Just don't ever go back to what's that Japanese track you went to?
Autopolis.
That one. Just don't go back to that track ever again. I can tell you that wasn't a fan of tracks of some of us. So, there are some good tracks in the world, and there is some pretty doo-doo tracks, and I'm putting this track in the doo-doo category.
Yeah, it's definitely not my favourite track either.
Alright, we're looking so far this time for this race. Fingers crossed that it stays that way.
It looked like there was a few technical difficulties there, or had a couple of comments saying that the screen has gone black, but turns out it was just on their side, so looks like everything's good there. Hopefully Robbo's getting this sorted out with the grids and we can get underway reasonably quickly.
Yeah, it seems like the game's playing a bit of silly buggers lately, yeah, as you said from last week with the tyre situation, but yeah, who knows?
Yep,
Creators might be like, nope, this track is on the bad list. Let's play around with everyone's games.
Yeah, it looks like JMX is the last driver to jump back into the lobby. Hopefully we can get this grid set up. Got 15 in, let's see.
There we go. There we go, he's back in now. I'm actually surprised the NSX isn't a little bit further up the grid, to be honest.
Yeah, it's got a bit more weight than the other two cars in the TS2 series, so I think maybe a few drivers are struggling with that.
Yeah, I think if I'm correct, that's actually got more weight than the main series.
Yeah, I think it's nearly 20-30 kilos heavier actually.
Yeah, that wouldn't be fun, but I'm sure if they tune it properly, it might get around to being quick. Because we've seen that some of these guys can tune some cars and be quick in anything.
So it looks like the grids are set. Now hopefully this time around everything all goes to plan.
Well, it's all going to plan in my race so far, fingers crossed, but it's all looking pretty smooth. Isn't that a good view of all the cars sitting on the grid?
Yes, definitely a good view there. Lots of colour, and it's good to have a full grid as well as we get ready for race 2 here at Catalonia. It's going to be Duran 50 off pole with Matt on the second, joining him on the front row, then Viper's Ed and Jono Stan will be looking for another good start as we're underway here for race 2. And it looks like Jono does get another good start, but looks like he's stuck behind Mint Matt a little bit. As Mint tries to tuck into the slipstream of Duran 50, but doesn't quite get enough pace to pull out in front. So Duran 50 is going to lead the field through turns 1 and 2 here. With Mint Matt following behind, Viper's Ed in third, Jono Stan fourth, Xylon 96 in fifth. As the field starts to form into a single file there, but Xylon and JMX looking close together. The two tall Mash Spuds racing teammates. Not sure what happened back there. Was there a bit of a incident between a few drivers?
Seen a little bit of a spin back there.
So look, it looks like Magical Wax just got a bit out of control. Maybe went a bit too deep into the turn here. Let's have a look. I know a bit of contact there between him and Little Blacko's caused a bit of a pole up there, and Brocker Lily's come out worst off and dropped all the way back towards the back of the field there. So very unfortunate one there. So Magical Wax down 9th. Was that? I think it looked like Devon Klutzo having a look down the inside of Robbo Sport there, and it looks like Mick Hayes took advantage of that and got ahead into 11th place there. So a bit of action going on in the first lap of this race.
Yeah, Robbo's looking nice there in 10th. Bit of recovery from the last race.
Yeah, well that was where Robbo finished the first one, so JMX is going to have to jump off to the side and burn that penalty there. Don't think he's quite burned that properly though, so that might incur a penalty from the stewards there. Sir Slayer jumps up into 6th place. Another interesting one, where's Little Blacko? Little Blacko's down in 13th after that one, so he's got a lot of ground to make up here. As we look towards the front, and it's Duran 50's leading the way again with Mint Matt just 8 tenths behind. And then I think that's Jono Stan and Viper's Ed battling it out for 3rd and 4th place. So Jono's turning the tables a little bit compared to the first race. Obviously he made that mistake while he was running in 2nd, so that picked up a penalty for him and dropped him down the order, but he's certainly making up for that mistake earlier on and got himself up into 3rd place. So maybe he would be looking to make a bit of a charge on Mint Matt this time around and maybe try and do what Viper said couldn't in the first race.
Yeah, Jono Stan having a good battle there with Viper's Ed. A little bit pushy and rubbing racing going on back there.
Yeah, I think they get along well with each other, so hopefully no hard feelings between the two, and it's just they just see it as hard racing. is just looking a bit further up. Matt's closed the gap here and got himself well within the slipstream of Duran 50, so could have a bit of a battle on here for first place. As with lap 3, Mint probably just overshot the brakes a bit there and nearly ran into the back of Duran 50, and that's cost him a bit of time there. This has really compromised his exit.
Yeah, and if you don't get a good run out of 1 and 2 in here, it can really ruin your either lap time or run into turn 4, which obviously will leave you open to some position changing. But I wouldn't rule out Mint Matt just about yet with 2.5 laps to go.
Yeah, it was probably a small mistake from Mint, but of course only cost him a few tenths, so there's plenty of time left in this race as we're about to reach the halfway point, so I'm sure Mint's very much capable of clawing in a gap if he needs to.
Yeah, I got Mad Mullick here taking out race 1, Highlander in second, and Budsy rounding out the podium.
Also, excellent race there from Highlander, so I'm sure he'll get a bit of joy from that one, and of course Budsy as well. Nice podium there too.
Yeah. Close that gap up a little bit there, Matt has.
Yeah, Matt's had a good run through those final few corners. That nice little technical section that was introduced in 2007 to probably a bit more of a safety measure for the Formula 1 cars, and probably to a degree kind of ruined the track, but of course in the name of safety you've got to do these kinds of things and keep people safe. So looks like Duran's just pulled that gap out a bit coming through the first few corners, so maybe we're slowly working out what the strengths and weaknesses are of both drivers over the course of a lap, but Mint did go fastest lap last time by.
Yeah, as we see, obviously as everyone says, that different drivers have different strengths or weaknesses, as that gap's back out again to just over a second.
Yeah, so it might be a bit of a yo-yo here, as it looks like there's a bit of a swap of position between Viper's Head and Jono's stand, so let's see if we can get a quick replay of that one. I think it looks like Jono's picked up a penalty and had to burn that.
Penalties, they're either going to be your friend or they're not going to be your friend. There's no in between.
Yeah, got to give mention to Xylon 96, who's putting in a strong performance here in 5th place. Obviously the 4 cars in front of some very fast drivers, and he's definitely not letting them out of his sight, that's for sure. So strong effort there from Xylon, and I'm sure he'll be enjoying the points that come with it as well, as he's putting a fair gap on Little Blacko. Let's see where Little Blacko is at the moment. I think he's down in 13th, making a move for 12th on Mick Ease. I think Mick Ease was a bit compliant there. So that's Magical Wax there.
Need to turn right, man.
Let's take a look at this replay. Let's see what's going on here.
Oh, run out of brakes there.
Not sure what happened there. It just jolted to the right and straight across the track. So I know Devlin Calypso had a bit of an issue last week, I think it was, with brakes. So I think that was in the Porsche Cup actually. So maybe there's more glitches going on with this game than we think of. But back out in front, it's still the same scenario with Duran 50, just around a second ahead of Mint Matt. Of course, Mint very strong through these final few corners, so he'll gain a bit of time coming out of here, but I think Duran's got him covered through the opening few corners here as we begin the final lap of race 2 with Duran out in front from Mint Matt. Viper's Head in 3rd place with Jono Stan just a little bit further behind, and then Cylon 96 rounding out the top 5, but yet again through these first few corners it's back out to a second, but Mint did look like he had a bit of a good run through turn 2, but again, Duram's just taken it out to a second gap.
Yeah, he's really excelling lately in these TS2 series, he is.
Yeah, Duram's definitely doing a good job. He had that clean sweep at the Blue Moon Bay infield race, winning both races and taking pole position, so this will be his 4th victory of the season so far, and definitely a very welcome one. I think that'll try and push him up the order a bit. A good performance here. I'm just looking through some of the names in here, and yeah, maybe not quite. Probably put him inside the top 20, I reckon.
Yeah, we can see a lot of fast drivers coming through now, but as we come through the last set of chicanes here, it looks like Duram, as long as he keeps it clean, is going to take the win of race 2 here in the TS2 series.
Yeah, so rounding the final corner again, it's Duram 50. Bit of a gap over Mint Matt, and he takes out race 2 here in round 11 of the Track Stars TS2 Touring Cars. Mint Matt a bit closer this time around with just 8 tenths. Viper Z crosses the line to take 3rd with Jono Stand 4th. Xylon 96 in 5th place, Sir Slayer 1991 in 6th. JMX 7th, Broccolilli 8th. Rugworth, a bit of an improved performance this time around in 9th place, and Little Blacko recovers to take 10th, so a bit of a fight back there, and picked up a few valuable points. And Robbo Sport in 11th, Mickey's 12th, Magical Wax 13th, then Devlin Calypso 14th. And then the last of our finishers, Benjo GLR 19, crossing the line just now to take 15th place. So there you have it, 2 from 2 so far for Duram 50. We're going to head to the victory scenes. There's Duram 50 parked in victory lane, holding his trophy aloft. Winner's wreath around him. And then of course we cut back to the lobby home screen and see, I think it was Magical Wax's car go at warp speed and reverse down the main straight.
This game really makes some cars look like they're the fastest cars in the world, but secretly we know they're not.
Yeah, only in GT Sport can a Honda NSX Super GT car suddenly take on the properties in reverse gear of a Dodge Tomahawk.
It is a Dodge, isn't it? It is. It's an SRT Tomahawk, that's right. Okay, race 1's finished now. I'm just fixing the grid because I had a person disconnect. So we'll go shortly for race 2 over here in split 2.
Oh, awesome stuff. Hopefully we can get that underway soon enough, and
This is Willie and he.
hopefully we can get race 3 underway shortly as well for the split 1 for the TS2 series.
I'll just got to duck out of the commentary box for a code 20. I'll be back shortly.
No problems. Alright, so it looks like we're going to get underway here for race 3 in round 11 of the Trackstars TS2 Touring Car Series. Again, it's going to be the usual suspects of Mint Matt on the front row in second place, and of course Duram 50 starting on pole again, courtesy of his pole position and 2 race wins so far tonight, so he'll be aiming to have a clean sweep. Disappointed, are you back there?
I am. Sorry.
I am hurt. Awesome.
Yeah.
Who's your pick for this one?
I don't know, man. I kind of got Viper. As long as he gets a good start, he can punch through the field. But keep your eyes on Mint Matt. I'd like to say Xylon to come into the mix because, as we see, he's very shortly on the back of the field there.
Yeah, so I think I'm going to go with Duram as we get underway here for the third and final race tonight in round 11 of the Trackstars TS2 Touring Car Series, the Catalonia Sprint. And it's Duram who gets to a good start, but Mint tucks into that slipstream and gets down the inside into turn 1, and Duram somewhat obliges there through turn 1 and 2. So it's Mint Matt that's going to take the lead through here, so this could be a very crucial moment as it's been Duram's way all night so far, so let's see what happens here as Duram looks towards the inside coming into turn 4, but definitely not close enough to make a move stick, and he's now got Jono Stan right on his tail heading into turn 5. As Jono Stan gets a bit out of shape, that's going to open the door up for Viper Z as he comes into turn 7 and 8. So Viper Z's dropped down a little bit. Who's gone wide there? Is that's Duram? Duram's gone off the track.
What's happened here? What has happened here? Oh, that is not good.
Let's get a look replay of this one here. So just got the curb coming out the corner, got a bit out of shape, and that's just pushed him off the track. So that is huge in context of the round results, and Duram was probably pushing to maybe get past Matt and take a clean sweep, but now he's going to have to fight back and maybe try and do whatever he can to take the round win, because I don't think it's going to be enough for him no matter what he does, because Matt's probably just going to have to finish a couple spots ahead, as it looks like Sir Slayer there, I reckon, is burning off a penalty there as we come to the end of lap 1. Of course, Mint Matt now 1.5 seconds out in front. Just a little bit further back, it's Jono Stan and Viper Z running in second and third, and then Xylon 96 sitting in 4th place. So just outside the podium spots for Xylon. He'll be probably sitting back and hoping that maybe one of these guys makes a mistake somewhere along the line and he can benefit from that.
Yeah, well, always sometimes pays off to sit at the back of a 2 or 3 car battle group. As I don't know if anyone's seen today, James Courtney did it in the supercars up at Townsville. They were battling, and then 2 of the cars came together, and he just kind of snuck on through and gained 2 positions in 1 corner.
I didn't actually see that myself, but it definitely sounds like a very exciting bit of racing there, and probably smart from Courtney as well.
Yeah.
As it looks like Viper Z's picked up a penalty here, so he's going to have to burn that this time through, and that might open the door for Xylon to jump into position 3.
Yeah, as long as he burns it properly, as we see some of these drivers not burning things properly. But that'd be good, looking good for Xylon there for a podium finish in race 3 as he pulls off now.
Yep, so it looks like Viper Z's done that all properly. Just judging by how slow he's going in the follow-up, it seems to be very much above board.
You see the move there for Xylon to grab a 3rd place. Now let's see if he can hold off Viper and move on towards getting Jono Stan.
Yeah, it's going to be very much a tough task for Xylon in this last few laps. Viper Z's picked up another penalty, so probably getting eager to make up ground here, and unfortunately he's picking up a few penalties as well as he's pushing the limits of his Nissan GTR here.
Yeah. You can run either a tyre wide or half a car wide, and if you're a tyre wide, then the game is certainly not going to pay off. It'll deliver that half a second penalty, as we just seen here from Viper. See if he pulls off to the side and burns a penalty on the back straight.
Yeah, of course, the system we've got here is a bit weird how I think the algorithms just aren't quite right with the Catalonia circuit, because you find yourself accidentally burning penalties even though you're going full speed around here, so it's definitely a strange one. But Xylon's got himself a little bit of a gap over Viper's head, but he's certainly not home and hosed yet. This is back down the 6/10s coming through these final corners, so I'm sure Viper's head has plenty of pace and he'll be looking to get himself back into that position 3 towards the end of this one. Just looking back a bit further, the gap's dropped down a bit between Mint Matt and Jono Stan, but definitely not quite enough to say that there's a battle on here, that's for sure.
Yeah, Xylon pulled that gap out a little tiny bit by a tenth, as we know the Lexus is decently strong in a straight line compared to the other two cars.
Yeah, you're definitely right there. I think the Lexus certainly has its advantages in a straight line, but although it probably depends on a bit of the tuning, maybe needs a bit more work to get a better handling car, so probably where it gains in the straights, it just probably loses a little bit in the corners compared to everyone else.
Mint Matt's got a nice comfortable lead here, as we see him have a 1.4 second lead, and let's have a look and see where Jerem is. It looks like he might be, oh, he's back up here in 12, hunting down 11th.
He's hot on the tail of Rugworth here, but just can't seem to find a way around it.
He's dropped back quite a fair bit. It was only 8 seconds or so when he come back on the track, so he might have had a spin.
Yeah, maybe there's a secondary mistake, or maybe a track limits penalty, pushing a bit too hard through one of the corners and just picked up that penalty and had to burn it off, and it's undone all his hard work, so got a bit of a better run here, so he'll be looking to make a move up the order. So he hasn't got many laps, so unfortunately that small mistake has probably just cost him the whole round. There's a little bit of contact there, but mostly clean move there from Jerem, so he gets up into 11th place, and next on the list is Seth Slayer, who's battling away with Mick Ease here, so I think it will now be Mick Ease that's the next target for Jerem 50, but as Seth Slayer moves up into 9th place. So
getting a bit slidey there on the exit of turn 6 there.
Yeah, a couple of slow corners there from Mick Ease, and Jerem's right on his tail here, so good exit out of turn 9, and well, Mick Ease has ran wide there, so that's just handed the place to Jerem right on a platter. Not sure if he's be interesting, or he might get up to 9th, but Slayer is a fast driver, so I wouldn't say it's a certainty, that's for sure.
No, exactly. As you see, you can always catch a driver, but whether or not you pass the driver, that's another challenge you can get in the mix. As you see, Mint Matt just started his final lap, followed by Jono Stan, Viper Z, and Xylon. So Viper's got back in front of Xylon there.
Yeah, so Xylon just couldn't quite hold off Viper Z, but again, another 4 points at this stage on Little Blacko here tonight, so very good performance, and something that'll slowly eke away at that championship lead that Little Blacko's got. We'll just have a bit of a look back here, and of course we've got the Little Blacko, Magical Wax, JMX all fighting it out for 6th, 7th and 8th, although it's a bit spread out a bit. I think the track map can be a bit deceiving in some cases, where it has a few, maybe looks a bit closer than what it actually is. So we'll head back to Mint Matt as he heads through the final chicane here. So he had a front row qualifying, 2 second places in the first 2 races, but come race 3 he's kept it on the track, and he's going to cross the line and take victory in race 3 and most likely take the round win as well. Jono Stan crosses the line in 2nd place, Viper's Head will take 3rd place, Xylon 96 4th, Brocca Lily crossing the line just behind in 5th in the end, and then we've got Little Black 06, Magical Axe 7th, JMX 8th. So Slayer just ahead of Duram 50 for 9th place, and Duram 50 rounding out top 10. And then it's Rugworth, Mickey's, and then I believe that's Devon Calypso in 13th. So Robbo Sport maybe had a bit of an incident there as well, and then Benjo rounding out the field. But of course, congratulations have to go out to Mint Matt, who, even though he probably didn't quite have the pace of Duram 50 in the first 2 races, he certainly kept the pressure on, and the pressure just got to Duram a little bit, maybe a bit too eager to try and take that clean sweep, and he unfortunately made a mistake through the turn 7-8 section, and that just left a door open for Mint Matt to claim the round victory and of course the race 3 win here. So disappointed, what did you take away from that 3rd and final race?
Oh, it just shows consistency is key there, and then if you get a penalty, you can all make your race turn upside down in an instant, as we saw there for a couple of drivers. And then the big shake up from Duram running a little bit wide, and then going from 2nd place to all the way back down to 12th and 13th, trying to have to fight back.
Yeah, he's certainly right there on that one, and a few costly mistakes, and luckily for Mint Matt, he was able to pick up the pieces and keep it smooth and consistent. Anyway, we've come to the end of our 3 races, and it's now probably time for us to quickly jump off and go set up for the Elite Brake and Mechanical Trackstars Touring Car Series races. It'll be coming in probably about 50 minutes time, so just like to say a big thank you from myself and Disappointed for tuning in tonight. Please stay tuned, as Nismo86 will be streaming the action from the main series, the Elite Brake and Mechanical Trackstars Touring Cars, in just under an hour's time. So yeah, stay tuned with us and watch out for those races. And from myself and Disappointed, thanks for joining in tonight, and we look forward to seeing you next time on